Hello, Gene. I understand you had a previous commitment for today that you couldn't change, so we're going to try something different, a taped interview of your welcome remarks to kick off Northwestern's 2014 Best Practices Forum. So welcome. Do you want to start with a greeting?
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate your being here and making special arrangements with others to make this possible. This forum is a special event for me, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you all today in person, but I am very pleased to have a chance to say hello and share some thoughts.
This is the 7th annual Best Practices Forum, and last year we had 210 staffers and faculty attend, so it seems to grow bigger each year. Does that speak to a growing reputation for the forum?
I think it does, and I certainly hope it does. Very pleased that it has resulted in a greater participation of our colleagues. I think it represents the power of word of mouth type of communications, where people who come, enjoy it, tell their colleagues, both in their units and in other units. That sparks more ideas being generated, more proposals, sparks more people coming, and that sort of thing. So, you know, our colleagues in this university are generally going to participate when it's worthwhile. That's the kind of people we have here, busy people who care about what they do, and if something is worthwhile, they're going to show up. They're going to want to participate, and that's what the numbers show, so it's very pleasing.
Excellent. And this event is sponsored formally by you and by Provost Linzer. Have you been surprised by how it's evolved over the years and improved since you started the first one in 2008?
Not surprised, because I believe that if you're fortunate enough to create a good product, which staff over the years has been very successful in doing, and you get those first good years of participation, the word of mouth, as I say, is very popular, and it's going to propagate itself, so to speak. It's going to expand itself. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, this year there are some amazing concurrent sessions with names like Performing Yourself or Content Strategy for University Websites. What do you hope people take away from all these top-notch sessions?
Yeah, I always enjoy the titles of people's remarks. There's sort of, sometimes I think there's sort of a competition among us as to who could come up with the most interesting and the most clever title. And the fact that that's the case, I'm glad for that. I think it shows the breadth and scope of imagination of our people and their interest in trying to capture the attention of their colleagues, because they think they have something to say. And in fact, they do have something to say, or they wouldn't, or their project or their proposal wouldn't be on the agenda. So I think it's very representative of a place that has a lot of talent and a lot of good ideas, and some of it comes out in the interesting nature of the titles. The other message I have is enjoy the people who are around you. Enjoy the other participants. Schmooze, hopefully not during the presentations, but schmooze at the breaks, get to know each other, because out of those kinds of these kinds of gatherings can come collegial kinds of relationships and friendships that will be very helpful and enjoyable to the participants. So please view this as an opportunity to meet and greet and establish relationships over time with people who you don't normally come in contact with.
And what advice do you have for staffers who attend today to get the most out of it?
Well, I suppose the most obvious one is, as these things are being presented, think about the potential rollout or application to you. A lot of these things are not going to fit exactly because they stem from a particular case study, if you will, or a particular environment. But a lot of this stuff a lot of these ideas are capable of being rolled out with some variation in different places. That's what goes into the selection process too. Yeah. The thought process in change management and elsewhere about who gets selected and so forth has in mind what is the applicability in other parts of the university. The other important thing that I would wish for attendees to get out of this is a sense of building relationships with their colleagues. Maybe on the Evanston campus, maybe on the Chicago campus. I mean, it doesn't matter. In fact, I would encourage as much relationship building all over the place as possible. But the real value of this, or the most standing value of this, probably in the long run, comes out of the relationships that are developed among colleagues, who then will be afforded opportunities to share information and ideas well beyond the scope of a few of these sessions.
Gene, the elephant in the room this year is that you're moving on this summer, so this will be your last forum as Senior VP. What do you see in the future for the Best Practices Forum?
Well, I certainly hope it continues to grow in terms of participation, in terms of quality and so forth. I mean, the happiest thing would be if, it got so big that we actually had to do more than one of these a year, or, put them on the waiting list for next year, because that would be a sign of respect for the program and, most importantly, usefulness. That's what this is all about. So when I look back on initiatives that I've been involved in, of course, there have been many. Some have worked well, some have bombed, some have been This is certainly in the first category of those that have worked well, and so I'll have a nice memory of it.
And as a successful manager of change and innovation yourself, what advice do you have about helping best practices take root and flourish at Northwestern in the future?
I think that the emphasis has to be focused like a laser on taking good ideas, taking visions, and immediately beginning to focus on their practicality for implementation. This is a place, by definition, where there are a lot of visionaries. There are a lot of, quote, good ideas, and I mean that absolutely seriously and not facetiously. That's really the way it is. The trick for people sitting in the room that day and when this meeting takes place is to take those visions and good ideas and figure out which ones have a chance of being implemented, and then implement them. And then you have the whole package. And so I think people need to be impressed by vision and ideas, but jump to the key to whether these visions can ever take root. And that's what I was talking about. So this type of forum is perfect for taking it from the vision and the idea to the implementation and the practicality, and then sharing it so that others can live with it and make it go in their particular organizations.
So sort of the same question, what are some of the actions we staffers could do to help attain that goal, staffers at the university, the goal of being among the very top research universities in the country?
I think staffers can contribute in a number of different ways. I mean, one is obviously being as effective as you can be in being part of the infrastructure. This is a very complicated place to work. It's a $2 billion, give or take, annual budget, staggering number. All the different schools, all the different folks who work on both campuses, both faculty and so forth. And the backroom operation, and I say that with a complete amount of respect, because I'm a backroom kind of guy, right? I'm not on the academic side of the house. The backroom operation, the infrastructure of the place, is what makes this place work effectively. And it also is what enables the researchers, the teachers, the clinicians, particularly in the School of Medicine, to do their thing, which they're so good at. And without the staff and the quality of the staff contributions, that contribution of those individuals will be diminished.
There's a great spirit of innovation at the Best Practices Forum. How do you continue that spirit throughout the year? How do you motivate people to continue that?
That's not easy to do. I think this place relies a lot on self-motivation. I think there's some motivation you can get that's very important in terms of people acknowledging your accomplishments. Sometimes that's by honoring you in various ways. Sometimes it's through compensation. But people here have to be self-motivated, I think, to be really successful, because I don't think there ever can be enough of the former. So self-motivation is a big deal, and self-motivation can come from coming to these sessions and listening to others, rolling it out, thinking about what you say and how it affects me and in my job and so forth. So that's how it works.
Well, thank you, Gene. We will miss you when you move on, so try not to go too far.
Thank you, Bob. I promise to write.
Good.